Welcome to Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. It is all four weirdos under one roof again, with being four different roofs. But Marc Valentine, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much.
I just saw you, but you went through a wardrobe change. Piano Rob, fresh off of a quarantine not that long ago. How you doing tonight, Rob?
I'm doing good. It's nice for all of us to be together.
Yes, it has been a while. Markie Mark, how are you doing tonight? Fresh off of a recording of This Life United We Fan, our podcast, and getting. We got kind of four on the
controversial.
Yeah. I'm super upset.
I definitely asked several people today those topic questions, and I think we need a rematch over poor answering. Yeah, rematch.
Blame Parker Brothers.
Yeah, I blame them. Where's the Parker sisters?
I want to recount.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. That was a bad game.
All right.
Work.
Well, guys, we got plenty to discuss. First and foremost, it is Marvel Studios release week. We do have a movie coming out this technically Thursday night. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings comes out. Marc Valentine, what are your plans for Shang-Chi? Are you going to see it this weekend?
While I do not have tickets yet, I will be scoring said tickets, if not later after the show, then tomorrow. And I will be there Thursday. I don't know when, but I will be there in the theaters. Yes.
Rob, how about you?
I don't know when I'm going to see it. I'm not around from Thursday till God knows when, so I don't know.
Yeah, holiday weekend. That's a bit different for you. Markie Mark, how about you?
I will be seeing it an hour and a half after Bryan, my co-host, in the same theater. So it's like we're watching it together. Reunited, and it feels so good. I'm musical tonight, guys. I'm feeling it.
If you want to get technical, you're going to be seeing it like 2 weeks and an hour and a half after I saw it.
Don't be that guy, Bryan. Don't be that guy.
But I have somebody here to visit me, and we're going to try a new segment on Earth's Mightiest Weirdos. We're going to call it The World According to Jax.
Yeah.
Jax he's wanting to get into podcasts, and he wants to tell us kind of what his thoughts are. So first and foremost, Jax, what are your plans for Shang-Chi?
Dad's gonna take me to it on opening night. And I think I'll like it a lot.
What are you most excited about for Shang-Chi?
For what I've seen so far, probably the Abomination.
Yeah, he was in the trailers. Don't tell anybody else anything else that I've said.
Okay.
We'll give you your chance to talk about first. What do you think of the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer?
I liked it. My favorite parts were when like Green Goblin's bomb showed up and Doc Ock's robotic tentacle showed up. I really like those parts.
Because you've been raised correctly and you know who Green Goblin and Doc Ock already are.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And last but not least, what did you think of all the superheroes dying in What If?
It kind of freaks me out, but other than it freaking me out, it was a really good episode.
What was your favorite part of the episode?
All of it was good. I can't.
Which What If episode's been your favorite? Captain Carter, T'Challa as Star-Lord, or this one?
T'Challa as Star-Lord.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, that has been The World According to Jax. Thank you so much, buddy.
That was awesome!
Woo!
I like that. That was fun.
Yeah.
We might have to do that. That was fun. He's been planning out his podcast with his sister all week, coming up with a name and all that kind of stuff.
He's better than all four of us combined. So
Yep.
I mean, we should just turn the microphones over to him. I mean, he's
Far more efficient, for sure.
Yeah, no no us. He didn't stammer. Jax he's a superstar already.
He didn't even need a deep breath to collect his thoughts.
No, he was ready.
He doesn't know how to close a door when he leaves a room, however. Oh, okay. Well, he's been really wanting to do that. Thank you, everybody, for letting us do that. I think he really enjoyed that, and we will do it again. But let's get into it. We had, and if you caught the awkward, it's still up on YouTube. I don't know if I want to tell people on that, but the awkward YouTube video that I did after Mightiest Weirdos wrapped last week, I jumped back in because the Spider-Man trailer dropped like 4 minutes after the episode ended. So I played a fake trailer for like 90 seconds and was like in my head going, I didn't see this the first time I watched this. And then I was like, oh, it's fake. So anyway,
I feel like you shouldn't. Yeah, I feel like you should not own up to that. You should say, listen, there's this video circulating that people are saying it's me, but it's not really me. It's Mephisto.
It's a variant. Yeah.
It's Mephisto. It wasn't me. Because I wouldn't do those kind of things. I would never disrupt the space-time continuum the way that this played out.
Well, I wouldn't freaking do what Doctor Strange and Peter Parker are clearly comfortable enough doing. It doesn't make any sense. Without
Allegedly.
We don't want to get too speculative. There are enough trailer breakdowns for everybody and their mother out there. But Rob,
oh my God, please don't get me started on that. I mean,
Rob, what did you think of the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer?
Well, first of all, I'm going to be honest. I didn't need to see it. I can watch no trailers for this movie and would be very, very happy going into it totally cold, especially knowing Marvel's misleading you in this trailer. And I will bring you back to the Infinity War trailer where they had them all running in Wakanda and the Hulk was there. Not the Hulk Buster. The Hulk was running there. They're misleading you in the trailer. So who knows what they're showing and what's real. I have 100 different theories that conflict each other in my own brain.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's true. But I'm happy that it's coming out. I'm going to love it. I also heard it has like a 2.5 hour runtime. It's going to be a long movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
If I'm being honest, 100% honest, I am so enjoying the TikTok wars that are going on right now, circling around this trailer, that it has been so fun. Like, I swore off TikTok for a while, and then the aftermath, it's like pure carnage of the people that are going after each other over this movie. It has degenerated.
Or no?
It's just degenerated into bedlam of people who are just going after each other, and I'm there with the popcorn for all of it.
Was the carnage pun intended?
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Okay. Markie Mark, what did you think of the Spider-Man trailer?
I think just like for Endgame, we could have just had a quick little clip of like Tom Holland just going, oh no, and then Spider-Man title, release date. That's all we needed. We didn't need clips. We don't need it. I didn't lose it as much as others did, but I thought it was a lot of fun. But like you said, there's a whole lot of fakeness. There's a whole lot of removal. Rob hit it on the head. There's nothing much I can say. It was a fun trailer. But yeah.
Super misleading. That's the whole point, Rob said. I'm very interested to see who Doctor Strange is because he's clearly not Stephen Strange. But
I love that cosplay though.
Yeah. Elsa.
Mark, I should go as Fat Thor in his like sweatpants and stuff, and you can go as Doctor Strange in his sweatshirt.
Oh, Mark, you don't want to go as Fat Thor? You have any thoughts on
that? Eat a salad.
If he keeps taking these Disney trips and eating at all those restaurants, we're all.
I'm gonna get there. I had to have my wedding ring resized today because my fingers are getting so fat. So yeah,
you're still worthy, Mark. You're still worthy.
I was still worthy. My wife was very happy to see it back on. She's been really like laying into me. She's like, something I need to know, buddy. Where's that wedding ring? I'm like, and I put it on. It wouldn't get over my knuckle. And I'm like, your husband's getting fat.
Honey, I swear it doesn't fit.
That's what she's no.
Rob, you could walk around as Fat Thor and just be like this.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
With Mark standing right next to you. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how much more we're going to get of this film. What I will say is go out and support Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, because if this movie bombs, the entire slate's going to get pushed. So we need Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings to perform at least averagely or else Eternals will be in trouble, as will Spider-Man. And Spider-Man maybe even more so because Sony needs to make bank off of this film.
And hopefully the 10 rings are different sizes in case anybody eats too much on Disney Vacation.
I'll allow it.
Bryan, please ring in the new round of discussion after that.
I will. Markie Mark, let's let you start the new round of discussion. What if episode 3? What if Earth's mightiest heroes? I don't want to die. What if Earth's mightiest heroes were all taken from us too early? What did you think of this episode, Mark?
I think they put the Ant-Man Thanos theory into practice with this one, with what happened with Hulk. For everyone who doesn't know that, it became very popular fan theory that all Ant-Man had to do was enter Thanos and
wrong hole.
Yes. Well, okay, we're not anyways. So I think the writers of the show were like, let's try that. So I thought the Hulk one was very interesting. It was also fun for me to go back to the Incredible Hulk, seeing how so many people forget about that one. So that was a little fun treat for me.
How about you, Rob?
First of all, big applause from Michael Douglas. He can be a villain in anything for me. I think he's what a great villain. What a great little storyline and reasoning to put behind why he did what he did there. This was a fantastic episode. And again, it just like we've said about the other ones, it's just one way things could have happened. It's a great story from start to finish. I guess we'll break it down as we go.
It's crazy that like Josh Brolin last week reprising Thanos and Michael Douglas this week reprising his role as Hank Pym, and those were completely unannounced. We had no idea any of it was coming. It's really, really cool. Mark Valentine.
See, now I thought he was just reprising his role from Falling Down in this episode. He had lost it. So no, Michael Douglas was Stop. That was a good joke.
How many of our viewers have actually seen that movie or knew it was a movie? That's what I want to know.
Again, it is my duty on a weekly basis to thoroughly age myself and let you know that I am old, that I have a lot more movie and music knowledge than I should as I look on screen. But I hope out there that you all age as well, except I wear it all in my digits. All the age goes right straight to the fingers. I enjoyed it. Michael Douglas was a lot of fun in the episode. It was nice to see him break bad. I really liked just the way that it played out. After we lost 2 of the Avengers, you kind of saw the writing on the wall. Thank God they kept Cap on ice. Never before was he probably so happy to be frozen in a block of ice than this episode. But it worked. It was not, in my opinion, overall as effective as the second episode, but it was a different tone. It was a different kind of feel. The last week for us was just really just sharing our love of Chadwick Boseman and really getting a proper goodbye to T'Challa, whereas this was more along the lines of the first week of the show.
And it was dark. This got dark, this one.
It got dark real quick. So let's talk right there. We start in what our typical timeline, the sacred timeline that we're used to. We're in Iron Man 2. Natalie Rushman is currently working for Stark Industries, and she is about to show that she is Natasha Romanoff working for Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D. And Tony is in the donuts, and she goes through, gives him the shot, and then that's when things get into what if territory, and he just goes down. You assume very much that whatever was in that syringe is what took him out. We find out later on. But Rob, Natasha killed Tony in all theory.
I'm hooked at this point. At this point, I'm like, what happened? I know she didn't do it on purpose. And like I said, it's just dark right now. You're like, oh, he died early. And we have so much more, obviously, from him from the movies. So to watch him die right there, I'm hooked. I'm in.
Did any of you, I guess, let's go around the circle. Mark, Markie Mark, when did you did you ever think Ant-Man, Hank Pym, before he showed up on screen?
like when it was revealed, I said to myself, dang, how did nobody think of this? But no, I knew Natasha didn't kill Tony, but I had no idea how it was being done.
Right. I mean, when Natasha was getting beat up in the library, and we'll talk about that, like, that's when I was like, it can't possibly, like, I thought maybe Ghost more than anything else, but Ghost would be an interesting character to pull in here. Mark Valentine, go ahead.
At that moment, I thought it was Hope, but I didn't have any inclination that it was Ant-Man related until that moment when she said, it's Hope. It's all about Hope. I thought it was quite literally his daughter at that point. So to then see him.
Yeah, I heard it's Hulk. It's all about Hulk. So, I mean, you're better than turn on the subtitles yet.
I had subtitles on for the watch.
The old man viewing.
Fury clearly knows that Natasha is going to be able to get out of those handcuffs, slips her the serum or whatever to get it tested by somebody that they can trust. How does she get out of that truck? Does anybody else like Rumlow hears her and she just vanishes out of the truck? I need that explained.
Magic.
David Copperfield level stuff, huh?
I don't think, I mean, at that point, I think they just want to move the story along. One of the things that really stuck out to me is how much Fury trusts Natasha, which was interesting to me. Why, if this was the universe, why he didn't trust her with the stuff he trusted Cap with in Winter Soldier, which I thought was interesting. It sounds like he trusts her more than anybody else. So just another thing thrown out there that I found interesting.
Well, to play devil's advocate, Mephisto's advocate a little bit, there is,
I like that.
I mean, Natasha has her own objectives in Winter Soldier that are just as important as what Steve's doing.
Directly from Fury. You're right.
Yeah,
yes, very
so
true.
I mean, but we're going to talk more about Natasha and what she does for S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Sacred Timeline later on as well. But I mean, we got Brock Rumlow's voice was back. Frank Grillo was back to voice. Really, everybody's voice was there except for
ScarJo.
Except for Scarlett Johansson, and that would have been awkward. But I mean, Samuel L. Jackson, I'm used to hearing his voice, Frozone, and many other things that he's done in voice acting. So that, I mean, the animation has hooked me. I am in now. I think this animation style is really, really good. It took a little bit of getting used to in the first week, but I have come around on the animation, and part of that is just by seeing the Caucasian male in his mid-20s with really great hair. He's gorgeous. When you talk about how much Fury trusts people, he trusts Natasha Romanoff. He really trusts Agent Coulson, and a lot of that comes off as well. We see Coulson show up in New Mexico, give him a call, and Fury's on the other line saying he's a little bit busy. But we end up with Mjolnir in New Mexico, and Mark Valentine. We get some really great stuff from Thor here.
Yeah, this part was funny. I mean, it was laugh out loud funny when he's like, no, seriously. He's like, in all seriousness, he's really gorgeous. I did take a sip of my coffee and I had to make sure that I didn't like spit it out because it was a good moment.
And then Hawkeye says it too. Like he goes, man, Coulson wasn't kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it took me a while to get used to the animation style. It really didn't sink in until like maybe halfway through. What did it for me though was the Collector. Seeing the Collector like ripped was like, okay, this is working. This is a good. I mean, and he was really gorgeous. He got that shake weight. So,
Markie Mark, what did you think about Thor and his arrival here? A lot of it played out similar to what we were used to from Thor 1.
I was a big fan of the animation from the first episode, so luckily I didn't need to work through that.
Was or was it?
I loved that animation from the beginning. Yeah, I was big. I do wish Rob hadn't cut his hair because I think that line right there with a picture of Rob would have been a great poster for the episode.
It's growing back.
So, yeah, okay. Because I mean, we talk about how Rob only needs to comb his hair like once every 3 months under the full moon. So
it's like lavender.
I know. So I thought that was great seeing Coulson have a man crush on Thor. At first I was like, wow, you forgot about Steve real quick, didn't you? And then I started to get jealous as a Steve fan. But yeah.
We get it back later. Don't worry.
I know. But yeah, Coulson was a lot of fun. But good Lord, when that arrow went at him, I was like, this episode really is going to be a dark one. So
It really surprised me that an arrow from Hawkeye could pierce his skin and kill him, though.
well, he was mortal then, remember? Like,
there you go. I didn't even think
he
about.
didn't have the power of Thor. He was.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like that Superman. It's like that Superman movie, the old one, where he gave up his powers and then he bleeds for the first time. I'm dating myself now.
In a diner fight, yeah.
Yay, Christopher Reeves.
That's a good movie.
Just
How
like
to age ourselves.
Never apologize for being cultured, Rob.
I know. On a Marvel show, here we are talking about Christopher Reeve.
But Rob, it does get dark really, really quick. Clint kills Thor, and I mean, Mark just answered it for us, like why he goes down like a sack of potatoes, and like Clint is beating himself up about it, and he's in the prison saying, "I didn't do it, I didn't do it," and then all of a sudden, Clint is also dead. What were you thinking at this point, Rob?
At this point, I'm wondering if it's some type of poison. I still honestly had no idea we were going with an Ant-Man thing. Looking back, it makes perfect sense, obviously, once they did the reveal. But at this point, I'm just like, we know it's an inside job. Is somebody poisoning them? It's got to be somebody we know. And I did not make the connection. And I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, it got really, really dark. You're going on, and when Fury calls Natasha and says, "Hey, there's these people. It was the Avengers Initiative. These are the people on the list, including you and Barton." Well, under different circumstances, like that would be very flattering. I mean, just including them on the list of the Avengers Initiative from the beginning, constantly going back to Fury's writing of what the Avengers Initiative is was really funny. But just all the stuff from Coulson, having Clark Gregg back as Coulson was really, really good. And this is where you get what we saw in the promotional footage. And Mark Valentine, I'm going to go to you on this, where we get Loki and the Asgardian army show up, and then we get Coulson giving us a maybe Middle Earth Lord of the Rings Easter egg. It was the greatest thing to me.
Yeah, it was. I love that. I love it when they make fun of the Thor universe, and poking fun at it is a lot. You know, there's some great humor to it. That on the surface, I think that's what, at least initially, too. Like, let's face it, if you're a non-Marvel person, we all don't we all get that reaction to like Thor and to like the universe of Thor is like, I thought we were watching superheroes. When did everyone invite the elves from Lord of the Rings? You know, so that was very appropriate, and again, just very well timed, very funny.
Yeah, that was great. But we get Loki showing up and he's got Lady Sif right behind him, and I mean Loki still has
the Warriors 3 were there too.
All of them were there. Yep. Yeah, that was really cool. Markie Mark, what did you think of Loki's arrival and just kind of all of that?
It was a good little intro. I didn't trust Loki at all, never did. So when they came to their bargain, I was like, all right, what's he got planned? So the whole time I was looking at him side-eyed.
Yeah, Loki didn't really give a lot of chance for explanation either. He goes right into it, blasting, icing everything over. And then Lady Sif is kind of the voice of reason, if you will. While this is happening, I really enjoyed how much it alternated between what was going on with Natasha and Betty Ross and Bruce Banner, and then alternating back to Fury and Loki, and really calling into a flashback of the movie The Incredible Hulk, which we haven't even touched on in a really, really long time. That scene from that movie is the best one of the whole scene. Rob, I see you nodding along.
I loved everything. I like that they did the throwback to the pizza delivery, which a lot of people might not know that all that pizza stuff was a disguise that Bruce Banner wore. It was Edward Norton, but that was what he wore in that movie as a disguise. So if you didn't know that, you were probably like, well, what's going on here? Why is she acting so shady? That was a really, really, really good touch. The writing of all the characters was good. They kind of brought back lines from other movies, but it wasn't the exact same line. It kind of just threw it in there. But the Incredible Hulk movie, because of Edward Norton, unfortunately kind of gets buried in the Marvel universe. But it's nice that they give you, it's the only backstory we have in this universe on Hulk. So it's nice that they use it.
Which is sad. Here's a hot take. I really like that movie, and it's very sad that it does get buried, because I'm like a one-off that I like Edward Norton as an actor, and I thought he did a really great job coming off of the first installment. I mean, like, I was not a fan of the Eric Bana film, not because I didn't think Eric Bana was terrible in the role. I think the writing was really weak in that first installment. And so I thought The Incredible Hulk fixed a lot of problems with the first film. I would have loved to have seen Edward Norton continue in the role because I just thought he did a great job. He was very believable. And I really liked the action sequences. And this scene from that movie was really fun. Like, this is when we're introduced to, I mean, he's not the Abomination yet, but this is when we're introduced to see what that serum is doing and the effects of it. It was fun. Like, I liked the scene.
I want to take this tangent a little bit. Would you would have preferred Edward Norton to Mark Ruffalo?
No, I wound up falling in love with Mark Ruffalo. I mean, Mark Ruffalo is.
I understand liking Edward Norton. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just curious.
No, I put it this way. I would have been happy with either of those actors continuing in the role. It did. My initial thought when Ruffalo took over the role was initially disappointment. I'll be honest, because I've always been an Edward Norton fan. Love Fight Club, love American History X. I think he's just an amazing actor. I think he has range and depth that is quite frankly is underappreciated in Hollywood today. I think he's just really talented. So to see him fall out of the role, I was like really disappointed because I just love his work and I like seeing him. And Eric Bana, not Eric Bana, Mark Ruffalo won me over though almost instantly because he's got really great timing for that part. And one of my favorite scenes in any movie is the diner scene when he's taking the selfies with the fans. And I love him in Ragnarok. I think he's just top notch in that movie.
I'm wearing shirts now. Hey, listen to your
mom. Edward Norton looked a lot more like the comic book version of how the Hulk was written. Also, just throwing it out there, another great Edward Norton film. If you haven't seen it, Primal Fear.
Yeah,
that movie. Just throwing it out there. Great flick.
Birdman, 25th Hour.
I know we could do this forever.
Yeah,
you could. Rounders.
I really enjoy Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, but I do like that diner scene. I have a hard time picturing Edward Norton bringing the comedy in the same way. So I love Mark Ruffalo. We got him back as Bruce Banner and Thor. His voice was in this show. He's very, very active in all things Disney Plus, including potentially rumored that he may actually be appearing in Moon Knight as well. Keep your eyes peeled to that. But he's definitely coming in She-Hulk, and he's got other things. I hope he's in Thor: Love and Thunder as well. But we no longer have the Hulk because, as Rob alluded to it earlier, Markie Mark, that was pretty dark.
Like I said, the writers took the whole Ant-Man Thanos fan theory, and put it in the episode. And I was like, okay, so he was shot, something ejected him. It kind of reminded me of that scene in, I think it was the first Blade with the anti-vampire serum where they just kind of puffed up and kind of blew up. I was like, okay, so something ejected in him. But then the real reason he died was so much darker, but it had you thinking, could this really kill the Hulk? I think it's a strong argument for a good way to kill the Hulk, but you kind of opened it up to a lot. So, yeah.
So when they revealed the way that all of the heroes were killed, it made me realize like how smart Hank Pym really is. Like, he was an evil genius. He did his homework. I mean, he had to do his homework to be able to know, hey, this is how I kill someone who's seemingly indestructible. And I was like, whoa. Again, it was dark, but it was also, you don't want to cross Hank Pym. I mean, he's
got a mean right hook.
Yeah, his brain can do a lot of damage.
And it makes you think, if Janet wasn't stuck in the quantum realm and he gave up on everything, look what the proper motivation does for that character. Even though it was evil, it got evil, but wow.
Right.
Well, that also, so I had, while driving today, I thought about how then instrumental Hope was in his life. In the timeline that we know, that her name is very appropriate in that it's his daughter, but it also gave him hope to carry on and to not feed that darker side of his personality. Because lest we forget, he loses his wife. on a mission. He could have easily have slipped into that mode in the timeline that we know, if not for the fact that he still had a daughter that he had to go back to and care for and cultivate a relationship. But you kind of see flashes of this in the Hank Pym that we know, in that he kind of did go a little bit mad scientist in his pursuit to get his wife back. And it's just very fortunate that Hope was there so that he never skewed completely dark and completely anti-government and anti-Shield, because we could have very well could have gotten this version of him.
Well, and that's what's so sad is, like, in the sacred timeline, he loses his wife for 30 years. And in this timeline, the what if is she doesn't get sucked into the quantum realm. She lives, they stay married. She works for Shield. She dies in the line of duty. And then Hope joins Shield and dies in the line of duty, which is what causes all of this to spiral out of control. Like you said, and I think this, for the diehard comic book reader, I think this episode is the hardest one to stomach of the three for sure, because Hank Pym he's the guy. Like, he is to the comic book world what Tony Stark is to the MCU. Like, he is one of the main guys. So to see them take such quote unquote liberties with Hank Pym and the character, for me, I thought it was an absolute blast, especially getting Michael Douglas to voice him and doing the old man Hank Pym like we're used to in the MCU. But man, just the entire thing of how sad, like, just because the what if plays out differently doesn't mean anybody's life is any better because something good happened to a guy. Like, that just, I mean, it's really kind of sad to think about.
Listen,
go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead, because what I have to say obviously adds nothing to the conversation.
I was going to say, did you catch who I believe they alluded to who killed Hope? Did anybody catch that?
No.
It's coming. Okay.
Go
ahead.
Wait.
I'll pull it up right now.
It said Hope was killed outside Odessa. Now, when Black Widow was talking in one of the other movies, she mentioned where Winter Soldier popped up, and one of the places she named was Odessa. And when she was looking at that computer screen, one of the people she also pulled up was Alexander. What, I just had his name and I blanked on it. Tell me, Bryan.
Wait, which one?
Alexander Pierce. His name popped up. Who we know is in charge.
He had a name earlier too in the episode.
Yes, and we know he was in charge, obviously, of. God, I'm losing my train of thought.
Shield. But yes, so what happened, for those that aren't completely understanding, like, Hope was on the Odessa, Ukraine mission and was killed by the Winter Soldier and attacked in the same manner as Natasha was attacked. So the question is, what storyline are they setting up of who the Winter Soldier is and not? Sorry about that, Rob.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you helped me out, because I was having my own little brain fart happening. But it was just very interesting that they basically set it up. So was that done as a reason to get him to be against Shield? Like, there's a very big underlying story that could be taking place here. And I'm very curious to see if it plays out in the future, or, like we said, these what if episodes are just that, what if episodes, and that's it.
And if all he was willing to do was have a conversation with Alexander Pierce, because those two would have probably actually gotten along as long as Alexander Pierce is actually still Hydra.
Yes.
Mark Valentine, go ahead.
I had nothing of value to add, and it's
okay. Well, I'm going to go to you on this, because Markie Mark talked about it earlier, but Coulson still very, very, very much loves Steve Rogers, and he gives out his password to Natasha Romanoff, who then finds out that Hope's archives have been accessed. This is how he knows A, who's on the Avengers Initiative, B, how to kill them, all that kind of stuff. But Coulson's password is #Steve, I heart Steve 0704.
It was
I don't know
nice.
how they got my password. Yeah. I don't know how they found it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Combination of my luggage. Coulson is awesome. I miss Coulson. This reminded me of how much I miss Coulson. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm sorry, it just never did it for me. I thoroughly missed the character. So to get this and to kind of get that flashback and see Coulson in action again, it warmed my heart. But that's again what is so fun about this series, is it's mixing these new scenarios with tried and true things that we love from the MCU, and we already know from the Sacred Timeline. So to see that even in this timeline, he still has a man crush on Steve Rogers was just so rewarding, let's just say.
Markie Mark, I know you loved this as well.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wish it was shorter so that I could use it for a password for things, but it was really good. And how he acted.
You cut out a Steve or two.
That's
you could
true.
just make like Steve. I heard Steve 0704.
But I mean, just how he even sold the line. Yeah, it was animated, but I could just picture him saying it. And I hope they
just staring at his cards at the time.
I know they filmed them doing this scene. They had to have, and I can't wait for it to pop up at the end of the series. But I think it just showed, like you said, he's still got the man crush. Don't worry. But it's truly brilliant how it goes from this comedic scene to actually kind of a horror movie scene right afterwards with Natasha in a very spooky, dark library. So, yeah.
I saw Janet Van Dyne get pulled up on the screen when Natasha was doing it, but she says it's hope. It's all about hope. That's the voicemail that she leaves for Nick Fury. He plays it over and over again. Again, I didn't have the subtitles on, so for me, it's Hulk. It's all about Hulk. I mean, I knew they weren't going to be able to go back and investigate that one. But Rob, did you pick up on Hope Van Dyne at this point? Is this when you started putting the puzzle pieces together?
Once I saw Janet's name on the screen and then I heard the message from Black Widow, it's all about hope. I was like, that is it. Then I started connecting all the dots. And what
my mind went to Ghost, though. I still thought Ghost was possible.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily sure if it was Hank Pym at that point. I don't know if it was Hope herself.
I thought it was Hope herself. I didn't think it was Hank. I thought it was Hope, literally Hope exacting retribution for the mom, because I saw that you had the mother on the screen, and then with her saying that, and then the fight sequence, clearly looking down the hallway, seeing no one, and then the way that she just physically reacted to the fight, I said, oh, this is Pym Tech. It's Hope is the villain.
I went with Hope died, and Scott was recruited by Hank still, and then I took it more as a brokenhearted Scott Lang worked with Hank, who was brokenhearted about losing his whole family, and it was an evil Scott. That's how I went with it.
Yeah,
Hank was upset that his eyebrows grew out that way. That's what he was mad about. He just
the Eugene Levy effect, man.
Yeah, he did not manscape well as the years went on, and he slipped into depression. He let himself go.
Something I really enjoyed about the murder mystery of this entire episode was the fact that the what if was not revealed until like 27 minutes into the episode. Like, you're wondering how this has gotten to this point. I actually thought that was really intriguing and added to the intrigue of the entire episode. I really enjoyed that. We talked about Hope, how she was killed, how she worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. just like Janet Van Dyne did. And we get confirmation that Hank Pym is not just using Pym Tech, but he's the Yellow Jacket. I thought that costume looked really cool in the animation style. But Rob, what did you think of the Yellow Jacket and just this reveal?
I love the costume. I love that they did make him Yellow Jacket, because he could be Ant-Man, but right. Ant-Man's a good guy. Yellow Jacket is like this other persona that's a bad guy. And he just has one of those voices, man. I know we said it before, but what a villainous voice. He's great. Everything about this was great. I love that he was Yellow Jacket.
Could we do a random Rushmore of Michael Douglas films?
The game where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Go ahead, Mark Valentine. You're ready.
All right. So The Game, Romancing the Stone.
Oh.
American President.
Yes. I love that one. That's a guilty pleasure.
And Falling Down.
Markie Mark.
The American President, The Game. Oh man, Romancing the Stone is so good.
It's so good.
I really, if you get a chance, watch him on Netflix in the Kaminsky Method. It is brilliant. Oh God, somebody brought up Basic Instinct a couple of days ago, but I'm not going to say that.
I love Basic Instinct.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Man,
It's
what did
hard
I
to
say?
hand.
Don't
I know.
you don't like a taste of your own medicine here.
You're right.
What about Wall Street?
Wall
I got
Street's
two. I got two good ones. None of you said.
You,
Rob,
me, and Dupree.
That's a good one too, but I wasn't going to pick that.
God. You know what? I'll go Ant-Man and the Wasp for my fourth.
Wow.
Really? Over Ant-Man?
I think Michael Douglas had more fun in the second one.
The Sentinel, Dwayne says in the comments. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
I wanted to say Fatal Attraction and The Perfect Murder.
Ooh.
Fatal Attraction is really good.
Yeah.
You guys you took it from me a little bit, Mark. I was going to go with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Avengers Endgame, and then the American President.
Nobody's picking Ghosts of Girlfriends Past.
No, or Ghost in the Darkness is pretty fun. Him and Val Kilmer.
Darkness is good. Yeah. So I would never go with Romancing the Stone. By the way, it's always Jewel of the Nile.
Yes.
Always.
That second one was a cash grab.
Oh man, and it was brutal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So bad.
I mean, he was a good villain in A Perfect Murder, which is a Hitchcock remake.
Yes, that was so good.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, it's a remake of Dial M for Murder. It was really good. I forgot about that. Was excellent. Yeah.
And I mean, the Michael Crichton fan in me wants to say Disclosure, but it's so dated. Him and Demi Moore. But yeah, if you like his sexy thrillers like Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct, watch Disclosure. But American President, all the way.
All the way. That was
Getting
fun.
back to What If.
Oh, right. Yes.
He shrinks down, and then they confirm why the scene of Fury and Loki gets cut short, because it becomes very, very obvious that Loki impersonates Fury, and that Fury is spry for an old man, as Michael Douglas puts it. I mean, just all of this, Fury saying, I don't give a darn about any of them. It's like, okay, yeah, that's Loki. That makes a ton of sense. But I mean, all of this stuff and the heartache that Hank Pym was feeling, Rob, I mean, it leapt off the screen for me. I thought it was really, really compelling storytelling. The
layers of this are amazing. It's great how, and this happens in the comics too, who unites with who when they have a common threat. And it's very interesting. By the way, Fury was alone in the diner where Thor screamed another and threw it down, just in case everybody. Yep. Fun little fact there.
I didn't catch that. All right.
Oh yeah, it's the same diner, but it's at night and it's much darker. But this was great to ask Loki for help because it made perfect sense. Loki wanted to get revenge. This is the guy who did it. It's also great that the cemetery where they went is right where the Vanish stuff was appeared in Endgame, right by the Golden Gate Bridge, which also added to that scene for me. But this was great how they came on the same side. And I know we're going to get to it, but then to watch Loki gets what he wants and then screws everybody over and does what he wants for his glorious purpose anyway, which is always amazing.
Which was really funny to me that has to be sanctioned by Odin. Did Odin
I wondered that. I was wondering that.
Like, yeah, so Odin signs off on him taking Midgard for himself?
Ooh, you're asking an interesting. I did not. This is why I love this show. I didn't even go there. That's a great question that we may or may not ever get answered.
Because Odin is still alive. I mean, this is well before he passes.
I mean, do we know that though? Because remember, at this time, Loki put Odin in a coma.
Yeah, but that's Dark World. If this is running.
No. The first one is when he puts him in a coma.
It's right after he basically.
That's right, to save the day.
Odin's in a coma right now.
So Loki can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. He's in the long slumber or whatever it's called.
And Owen Wilson isn't coming to stop him.
Wow.
Yay, Mark.
Well, Loki takes over, he goes to the United Nations. He takes over the world. And Nick Fury...
That's where you go when you want to take over the world.
I guess. Nick Fury doesn't seem... I mean, he obviously seems a little bit bothered by it, but he's clearly being left alone by Loki at this point in time. One thing we didn't talk about was... And this is something I think happened many, many times in my own headcanon throughout the Sacred Timeline of Fury picked up the pager, almost did it, and then didn't do it. I think, I mean, that's the thing is Kevin Feige was asked often of why didn't Fury ever call Captain Marvel before? And A, how do you know he didn't? Or B, he always had another way out. And he didn't use the pager to call her, at least until coming back, because he says, "Welcome back, Captain," thinking he's talking about Steve Rogers as he's uncovering him. I hope we get a continuation of this storyline because I want to see how Captain Marvel and Captain America come together to basically defeat Loki in this world without anybody else. I loved when Hank Pym talked to Nick Fury about how you would have eventually just given Thor some speech and Thor would have been one of the mightiest of them all. Like, I thought that was all really, really funny, but it just, I don't know, man. Like the whole welcome back Captain thing and having Captain Marvel there with Steve. And I'm going to pull up the image that we used for this video because it was just cool. Like getting Steve uniced again. I thought it was really cool. But Mark Valentine, what did you think of it?
Well, I said this earlier in the show. Steve Rogers was probably never as grateful for being, on ice than when he comes to realize it's like, hey, like why, like what's going on? Oh, well, I had this team, but they're all dead. They were assassinated because we kind of screwed up. And I need you to do this. He probably thanked, well, great that I just got defrosted right then and there. But I found the most compelling part of this was then that dialogue over it that said, like that heroes are essentially they're always going to rise up. That we talked about this last week, that even if it's not Thanos, that there's always going to be someone who fills that vacuum and becomes the big bad. And we got that from the Collector. And I think that works on the reverse as well, that when there is evil in the world, that there will always be people to rise to the occasion and to combat it. So while we didn't get Earth's Mightiest Heroes the way that we normally are used to it, we're still going to get some semblance of a team that comes to combat the evil that is rising in the universe. Cool stuff.
It's going to be too.
It's like Force. It's like the Force, man. It's very Star Wars-esque, that it has to be in perfect balance.
But so just to jump on that though, which is also interesting, we always hear the stories where the heroes are going to win. Those are the stories worth telling. But there's obviously multiverses where the heroes don't win. And that's what's interesting about this too, because we might get stories where who's to say that Captain Marvel and America are gonna save the day in this universe? We don't even know if Loki has talked to Thanos in what capacity at this point in this universe. That's what the beauty is of this show. And if we ever pull characters from other things, to go up on a slight Disney tangent, but it's a fun thing, go watch the Phineas and Ferb movie Across the Second Dimension. There's one world in that movie where Doofenshmirtz won. He's in power, and it's funny to see these things because this is a world where the villains can win. And that's what's interesting to see. We don't know how it's going to pan out.
Well, but even the first 2 episodes, Rob, like just because we literally just paused the story.
Yes, you're right. The villains could win in any of those.
Yeah, there's no indication that in either one of those first 2 episodes that the good guys are going to win. Like, especially last week where Peter Quill is like, now there's nothing to impede Ego from taking his son and basically consuming him and then like executing that plan to like seed the entire universe with like versions of himself. There's nothing stopping him. So we may not be in the first 2 episodes better versions of the universe. And you get the same thing here. This one ends on a little bit more hopeful of a note than the first 2, where it was kind of like the evil laugh. And it's like, is it really better? Ha ha ha. This one is no, maybe it will be okay.
Well, that's why I like that it's all about hope, because I think it's a double meaning. It's about the person, and it's about that at the end. There was still hope at the end of this, even without the rest of your Avengers. You have 2 very powerful Avengers that are still going to be around.
Oh, there you are, Perry. Markie Mark, any last thoughts on the episode?
I would have loved to have seen a team up action scene of Captain and Captain Marvel, but like you said, that's that adventure, and we're moving on to the next one. So that would have been fun.
We never know where we're going to pick up either. I fully expect this to at least tell us some versions of the multiverse that might actually make its way in. I am holding out hope that we do see a live action version of Captain Carter at some point.
So can it be next week? What comes next week, Brian? Because I have not looked ahead.
Doctor Strange Supreme, the evil version of Doctor Strange that we've been seeing.
And my favorite order at Taco Bell too.
Also evil, yeah.
I can't even get there fast enough.
I was waiting for it. But just to go off maybe on a slight tangent, but the Watcher, in theory, I think should show up in a more prominent role after the series because he has interfered specifically in Fantastic Four things in comics forever. So I'm very curious to see if the world gets in so much peril that he has to step in and what we're going to get from that.
Can I speculate for a second?
Please, I would love it.
Mark, I think that so there's a promotional Hyundai Sonata footage. Like there's a Hyundai commercial of all the heroes fighting, and Uatu is fighting with them. I think by the end of this season, we're going to see Uatu at some point interfere in some form or fashion. I don't think you cast Jeffrey Wright only to use Jeffrey Wright as a voice actor. I think you cast Jeffrey Wright because you are going to put a live action Watcher into your universe, and he's going to be a perfect character to play that out over the next X amount of years.
Yes, and it makes sense for the coming of the Fantastic Four. We already have joked. We know that Namor is supposed to be the villain in Black Panther 2, which I don't know if they'll somehow have Fantastic Four characters by then, but that would make sense. He's a villain for them. So it's interesting stuff. This is why we're all hooked. This is why we can't wait to see.
We are going to finish the episode with a game of Marvel Family Feud. We're going to see if we can finish the card. Top 7 answers are on the board before you guys get your 3 strikes. Start with Mark Valentine. If Captain America was president, which ally would he pick as his vice presidential candidate?
So we're supposed to pick a president that he would ally himself with?
No, vice president.
Who would be? It'd be Rogers blank 2024.
So who's vice president?
Another character.
Abraham Lincoln.
No. Another character. Another character.
Another
who would be his running mate?
His vice president, Mark.
Abraham Lincoln. I love that. I wish that was there.
Peggy Carter would be definitely a running mate.
She's not on there.
What?
Not on there.
Rob.
I'm going to say Sam's Falcon.
Number 5, Markie Mark.
Man, Peggy Carter that was my go-to easy answer.
I'm reeling, I know.
Zootopia.
Oh, good Lord.
Don't go there. Yeah, that was wrong too.
I know. Man. T'Challa.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Queens, Spider-Man.
Wait,
No?
which one? No.
You're missing a super obvious one. You guys have 3 strikes, but I'm going to let Rob go.
Can I say Bucky, please? Because I think it's got to be on there.
What?
Why would Bucky not be on there?
He's a convicted assassin. What?
Can I throw in Tony Stark?
He is not there.
Not there.
Bruce Banner is not on there.
Number 1 is Thor. Number 2 is Hulk. Number 3 is Bucky. Oh, I'm sorry, Rob. Number 4 is Iron Man. Okay. Number 5 is the Falcon. Number 6 is Hawkeye. And number 7, Black Widow.
Who did this? Who did this?
They picked Avengers.
Thor isn't even eligible. He wasn't born. He's not a United States citizen.
Correct. He's not allowed. He's not eligible as per the constitutional guidelines. I agree with Rob.
I'm done with Family Feud.
I am not. I love Family Feud so much. Mark Valentine, what is going on?
Can you do it like Steve Harvey so I can really feel like we're watching the show?
Just gotta.
We had the best time on this Dislike podcast this week where Bryan joins the show with Dwayne and myself, and we drafted animated and Pixar characters for a fantasy football team. It was so fun, so hilarious. You got to check it out.
What is going on in Piano Land?
Oh, man. This weekend, I'm at Boathouse Friday night and Sunday for brunch and Tin Roof Sunday night. If you want to catch a Tin Roof show, I would do it in September because they're not going to be regular on Sunday nights after September, but hopefully plenty of Boathouse shifts, and you can always catch the live streams that I'm always popping out there.
Tin Roof. Rusted.
Markie Mark, United We Fan World.
Let's see. We got an episode coming out on Wednesday. I mean, we already shared it yesterday, the topic. It'll be on our Ryan Reynolds comic book movies. So Bryan and I geek out over that. If you need to hear our voices a little bit more, check out our UWF Plus / This Is Life Family Feud, where Bryan and I get railroaded into losing Family Feud. Spoiler alert. But you can laugh at all of our correct answers that are deemed wrong. But yeah, Shang-Chi this Thursday. Check it out. Rob, you and I are going to be spooking it up for the next 2 months with some scary events. So yeah, fun times.
Do we at least get Ryan Reynolds singing I Swear?
I swear.
It's not a comic book movie, unfortunately.
I know.
But we can find a way to squeeze that in there. We're a United We fan.
Well, gentlemen, we had For the Children, then we had For All Time. Now we have hashtag Steve, I love Steve, or I heart Steve 0704. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody.